Shalom, Country Faith. My name is Annabeth Havener, and I work with Light of Messiah Ministries in Atlanta, Georgia. So our heart, our vision as a ministry is that the Jewish people would see Jesus as who he really is, that they would come to faith in him as the Jewish Messiah, and also that Christians would learn more about the Jewish roots of faith in Jesus, and that would really build bridges of love and understanding between the two communities. So we spend a lot of time in the Jewish community sharing the good news of the Messiah in a culturally relevant way, and also a lot of time teaching in the church to our brothers and sisters in Messiah, in Jesus. And so just a little bit about me. I'm not Jewish. I was born in a Christian home, grew up knowing the Lord, but the Lord brought me on a very interesting journey into Jewish ministry over the last decade or so, and I can't wait to share it with you. It's got a lot of ups and downs. I used to be very anti-Israel politically, and God really radically changed my heart. And I lived in Israel for years. I speak Hebrew now. Just a really, really wild story I'm excited to share with you. So our time together, I can't wait. We're going to have a blast. At the end of February, we're going to be together for a whole day on Saturday, and we're going to have some amazing workshops in the morning. And then we're going to do a very special event together that night. In the morning, we're going to talk about, I'm going to share my testimony. We're going to dive into what is Israel and what is the deal with God's love for Israel? What is this covenant we see all through the scriptures? So what is this with God's love for Israel? We're going to dive into that. Then we're going to look at the modern conflict that's going on in the Middle East. It is really intense. So this is a very relevant word right now. We're going to talk about not only what's going on and how we can pray. I've got friends on both sides of this conflict. It's horrible. And I believe that really the only change that's going to happen is going to be radical change in people's hearts. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about testimonies of Jewish people, of Arabs who have come to faith and had their walks radically changed and their perspectives on this. So not only are we going to look at the modern conflict, but we're going to look at the biblical roots of the conflict, because it's not just a modern conflict. It's actually rooted in biblical history. There's so much history going on. It's so complex. And there's also a spiritual dimension. So we're going to look at that. And then we're going to move into looking at the Jewish calendar and the biblical festivals, the feasts of the Lord that are listed in Leviticus chapter 23. We're going to look at how each one of those is deeply significant spiritually, how Jewish people celebrate them today, how Jesus celebrated them, and how he used them to point to himself, and how he's even prophetically pictured in those feasts. So that's just going to be so exciting, so mind-blowing as we look at the calendar of the Lord. And then that's going to set us up really well for the evening when we are going to have a Passover Seder meal together. This is the meal that Jesus sat around his Last Supper table with his disciples and ate with them. It is one of my favorite things in the whole world to share. It's a really special, profound experience. We're going to look at, thousands of years back at the Exodus, the story of redemption, what Jewish people are celebrating around the world. We're going to look at what Jewish people do today in the modern celebration. And then we're going to look at that very special Passover night that we got a window into in the Gospels, that Seder meal that Jesus ate with his disciples, that he said he longed to eat with them. We're going to look at what Jesus said during the meal, why it matters, and how it will really transform our view of him as the Passover sacrifice and what communion even means. So I'm so excited to dive into this with you guys. I can't wait to see you, and looking forward to it. Shalom.